Satellite and Comms Day convened this one-day forum, a true gathering of world and domestic satellite leaders. The aim to identify and initiate needed dialogue for the development of satellites as a primary delivery mechanism for universal service purposes. The Australasia Satellite Forum is a uniquely inclusive platform to address issues of urgent concern to governments, enterprise and consumer entities.
Ka-band was really the only option to provide broadband to a sufficient number of customers reliably, stable platform. Bringing it together into the whole NBN, I think, provides an opportunity, I think, for the satellite industry, if they adequately communicate where they fit into the jigsaw, to really take a leap forward.
We are intending to launch 2 Ka-band satellites to provide coverage for approximately 3% of the Australian population that is not able to be economically reached by either fibre or wireless delivery. So the principle there has been, I guess, in terms of open access and uniform national pricing, is to provide a uniform price and product structure across the industry to enable as rapid take-up of services as possible, and ones which are cost affordable for the end user.
From your points of view as satellite operators serving the Australian and other markets, currently, how much of your leasing today, and I think the answer is going to be generally pretty small, but how much you're leasing today, it was directly impacted by NBN? What would it take away from you today?
We provide through either direct or through some wholesale partners. We address some of the ABG business. It's a small but important complementary part of our business that would be directly affected. But again, it's a small part of our business.
Our concern would simply be that the 2 satellites don't start to encroach on the business that we have been nurturing for a long time.
But the concern is, well, what happens if there's creep? What happens if they start beginning to look into other applications?
When we're making decisions about where we put new satellites and put new beams, we look at things like, is the government going to play in our sector? And we're building out our Asian arc at the moment. We're adding more satellites. And we have to make decisions about, do we invest in this country and put beams here to provide services for people, or do we decide not to? And I think it would, if NBN Co and the government would clarify the point on which, and perhaps contain the scope creep, it would make it a lot easier for us to invest in this country.
Could you just speak a few words about your view on developments in the maritime market, CKU services, and how you think the Global Express is going to play into this?
I believe Global Express will take its place in a niche, and that niche is probably the comms on the move element, whether it's unmanned aircraft or unmanned trains, whatever it is, that element in the market. I think that's what the Global Express at this moment in time is probably suited for. Is it going to clash with the VSAT? No, I don't believe so. I think C and KU services in the maritime, they're here to stay, they're here to grow.
There is a consensus that VSAT is a way forward. So that's a good base to grow from. We've seen the growth on the KU band driven in the past 2 years mostly by oil and gas related vessels.
The customers, how important is it to listen to the customer now? And what are your customers' key issues at the moment?
Depending on the customer, it's more and more up the value chain. So satellite's just becoming part of an overall solution. That's what we're finding.
Predominantly our clients are driven by the quality of the service and the value add. Because we're consciously looking at that high end of the market, price is always an issue, but really ultimately it's about the quality of the service.
satellites really are this critical communications device or capability when we get to a disaster. Often terrestrial communications has been wiped out. We saw that in Japan, we saw that in New Zealand. We've seen satellite come to the fore as a recovery mechanism, and there's several phases you go through when you get into a recovery situation.
Just thought I'd show an accelerated view of disasters in earthquakes, maybe just one type of disaster, earthquakes, across the span of 5 years from 2005 to 2008. So you're watching that as it basically was tracked for 5 years. In total, 37,000 earthquakes across 5 years.